What's going on, Not Move Nation? Welcome to the Not Move Podcast. Today is February 14th at 12:42 p.m. Eastern Time. I'd like to say thank you to our supporters, subscribers, and followers. We do appreciate you guys. Also, thank you to our sponsors, BetUS, MyBookie.ag, Walmart.com, Open Goal, the MLB and NFL Pro Shops, and W Energy Drinks. All right. I can smell it in the air. Baseball season is right around the corner. We don't have any NBA games on until Thursday. I usually talk about statistics with that stuff. But in the meantime and in between time, I just wanted to go over these just old school MLB depth charts whenever I was growing up. Yesterday, I did a show about NBA depth charts. It was good looking back on that stuff. So today, I'm going to just be looking at these MLB lineups. I think I started watching baseball around the 1997 season. So I'm just looking at, I'm a Rockies fan, unfortunately. So, back then, man, we had Andres Galarraga playing first base. He was good, man. Vinny Castilla playing third. Dante Bichette out in left field. And so his son, Bo Bichette, now plays. He's a Met now, right? New York Met. Bo Bichette. See, I'm so old. I remember his dad playing. Um, yeah, they picked him up over the offseason, right? Yeah, he's with the New York Mets. Cool. Let's see what else we got here. Computer's going a little slow here. All right. Okay, here we go. Who else did we have? Larry Walker. So yeah, these guys were solid here. What about like the Yankees? Tino Martinez, Wade Boggs, of course, Derek Jeter, shortstop there, Daryl Strawberry. This is probably just a little bit before my when I really did start watching baseball. I see that Fernando Vina. He used to play for the Milwaukee Brewers during this season. It looks like the 1997 depth charts. What I'm looking at. Cool story about Fernando Vina. He used to play with the St. Louis Cardinals. I think this was after 1997. He used to play with the St. Louis Cardinals, and when I was a kid, I was there at Busch Stadium watching Cardinals. I think they were playing the Cubs. I was sitting there in the stands, and I really couldn't. It was probably like about the fifth inning or so, and I couldn't get a clear view on the game. I was a kid. There were people sitting in front of me, so it was kind of blocking my view. So I moved back one row and moved a couple seats over. Well, the very next play, Fernando Vina hits this foul ball sky high in the air, and it ended up landing in the empty seat that I just left the pitch before, and it bounced up. Somebody else got that ball, but it taught me a valuable lesson when I was a kid. Be appreciative of what you have. So if I would have just stayed there, I would have got that foul ball. I've been real close to catching a couple of foul balls. I think there was one last year in Kansas City. Hunter Renfroe fouled one off, and I almost caught it with this hat, man. It would have 100% been on Sports Center if I caught that, man. And I didn't want to risk my life because I had to lean over the rail. I didn't want to risk my life for a foul ball. But maybe if it was like, Barry Bonds or something, I would have I would have risked my life for that. But and I do like Hunter Renfroe, but it wasn't that important to me. 6'7". What's going on, Abigail? Have any of you guys ever caught a foul ball, a home run ball? I mean, I would love to before I leave planet Earth. That would be awesome. Let's go to like the 99 season here. Chuck Knobloch. So I mean, I heard Chuck Knobloch was pretty good with the Yankees. I see he's in this 1999 depth chart. That's where he's at, second baseman. But dude, near the end of his career, I didn't catch the good part of Chuck Knobloch. I caught the back end of his career, and he was a terrible defenseman. Like I said yesterday on the show, though, on my NBA historical depth chart show, I have respect for all of these players. There has to be some sort of level of commitment and ambition and discipline to even make it into the major leagues. But, I just remember, some of my first memories is watching Chuck Knobloch just overthrow the first baseman time and time again. I mean, it was so bad, he would throw the ball into the stands. What's going on, the vibe? Let's see, who else do we have here? Yeah, I mean, Jeter was fire. Roger Clemens. Fred McGriff for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. He used to have those commercials when I was growing up, it'd be like, get better at baseball. And it was always Fred McGriff on those commercials. Wade Boggs. Who were your guys' favorite players back in these days? Carlos Delgado for the Toronto Blue Jays. He was fire. I'm looking forward to this upcoming MLB season, that's for sure. What about you guys? Randy Johnson. I mean, that has to be the best pitcher I've probably ever seen in my life. If you don't know who Randy Johnson is, and if you're a baseball fan, I mean, obviously, I think my favorite memory of Randy Johnson, I have two favorite memories of him. Obviously hitting the bird with the baseball was was pretty crazy. The bird just exploded. The bird flew as he was pitching the ball, and he he was like he was the fastest throwing pitcher in the game, and the bird just poof blew up. Um, but my favorite memory of Randy Johnson is I think he threw a perfect game or at least a no hitter, and after he threw the last pitch and completed it, the catcher just started running to the mound and was celebrating. He was like, "Yeah, yeah, let's go, Randy!" And Randy Johnson was just like, "All right, calm down, calm down." He was just real nonchalant about it. It's pretty cool. What else we got here? Luis Castillo, Jeff Bagwell. Craig Biggio, his son now, plays with I think Toronto. Is that right, or is he with the Royals? Kavan Biggio. He's a free agent. Yeah, I remember his dad playing. Um, Craig Biggio. Who else we got here? Adrian Beltre. Didn't Beltre play for the Royals? I think he might have. Mike Piazza, obviously, he's got to be one of the better catchers that I've seen. You know, especially back then, he was a good hitter. Mark McGuire, man, I remember Mark McGuire getting that home run record. Him and Sosa were just slugging it that year. I forget what year that was, but that was an awesome home run race. I remember one day McGuire, they were both chasing the all time record for home runs in a season. And one day McGuire would have 40 over Sosa's 38 home runs. The next day Sosa would be up 43 to 40. I mean, they just went back and forth, and McGuire ended up hitting more than Sosa that year. But yeah, this was back when, the Rockies, what we had Todd Helton and stuff. I know you probably don't want to hear about the Rockies. Who really cares about the Rockies, but Nafi Perez, Daryl Kyle. Um, yeah, Cal Ripken. Nomar Garcia Parra for the Boston Red Sox may have been one of the best hitters I've ever seen. I remember one year he was chasing a 400 batting average near the end of the season, which is unheard of. Um, has anyone ever hit 400 in MLB? Several players: Ted Williams, 406 in 1941. Looks like a lot of people way back in the day did. But the closest person to do that was Arise when he was with the Marlins. They're saying that he maintained a 400 batting average deep into June 2023. But yeah, I remember Nomar Garcia Parra there in the late 90s or early 2000s. He was making a true run for hitting 400 or better. Let's fast forward a little bit. I'm just kind of browsing through these names here. Let's go to like 2001 depth charts here. Mike Sweeney for the Royals. He was basically their bread and butter there for a long time. Jermaine Dye, Carlos Beltran there for the Royals. We'll start Alfonso Soriano for the Yankees, fire. Jorge Posada, the catcher. Giambi. I feel like one of the Giambi brothers went to the Yankees at some point. There was Jason Giambi, and who was the other brother, guys? Jeremy Giambi. Arizona Diamondbacks. Edgar Renteria for the Cardinals back then. Jim Edmonds. Jim Edmonds, man. I think he's played for multiple teams, but he was a great center fielder. And I remember him just robbing everybody of home runs. It looks like it's going over the wall. It is over the wall, but here comes Jim Edmonds climbing the wall and bringing it down. Yeah, he was real good. Made some great catches. Some of the best catches I've ever seen really have been by Jim Edmonds. I mean, this is back when it was the Montreal Expos. I didn't know Fernando Tatis played for the Expos here in 2001. I really remember Fernando Tatis when he was with the Cardinals. And then obviously Vladimir Guerrero with the Expos back then too. His son now with the Toronto Blue Jays. But Vladimir Guerrero, man, he was different because there were. I mean, I'm sure a lot of you know, but the pitcher would throw the ball eye level, even over his head, outside. Didn't matter, man. He would still hit home runs no matter where that ball was thrown. It almost seemed like the worse the pitch, the better of a chance he had to hit a home run. Jeffrey Hammonds. I feel like he ended up going to the Rockies. Jeffrey Hammonds. Who are your guys' favorite players growing up? Maybe you guys grew up in a different time than I did. Maybe a little bit before this, a little bit after. But I tell you what, growing up, man, it was always the Yankees. Yankees winning World Series after World Series after World Series. That's all it was. It felt like, at least. Who else was decent? I mean, Boston was decent. The Diamondbacks, with Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling. Atlanta Braves, man. Yeah, Chipper Jones. How could I forget Rafael Furcal, Andrew Jones, another great center fielder there. Andrew Jones. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this season. Let's fast forward a little. Oh, Gary Sheffield for the Dodgers. I think he had a pretty unorthodox batting stance too. Like, he wouldn't, like, from the best of my memory, he didn't, like, bend his knees a whole lot when he was batting. He stood pretty upright in the batter's box, and he was real good. I believe at hitting baseballs at about eye level. Same with Jim Edmonds. Mike Hampton, yeah, dude. I remember that was a big deal for the Rockies, man. I think he pitched for the Mets, and he was like really good for the Mets, and then the Rockies ended up getting him. Um, and back then, you know, I think pitchers batted in both leagues. I can't remember, but I remember Mike Hampton being like the best hitter out of all the pitchers in the league at that time. That was the cool thing about Mike Hampton. He hit several home runs for the Rockies. Let's go up to 2000 2003. What team have we not talked about? Oh yeah, man. I mean, Houston. I already mentioned Jeff Bagwell, but Jeff Kent, second baseman, he was solid. What other teams? Who did the Mets have here? I don't remember a lot of these New York Mets. Maybe just still a little too young. Tom Glavine, he was a good pitcher. Jimmy Rollins for Philly. Yeah, he was good. Um, Johnny Damon, I think he played for a bunch of teams. I guess he played for the Red Sox here in 2003. That's the depth chart I'm looking at now. But it's hard to imagine. I feel like, 2003 wasn't that long ago. That's what's crazy. That was 23 years ago. CC Sabathia. Yeah, he was. I can't remember if he was better with Cleveland or with the Yankees. I mean, he was still solid, I believe, on both teams. But yeah, I saw this the other day. They were showing the depth chart like on a meme. They were showing a depth chart of the Detroit Tigers when Verlander was a rookie, and Omar Infante was on the Tigers. I mean, I don't remember that, but I remember Omar Infante being on the Royals. Angel Baroa for the Royals. So these are guys, I remember watching Torrey Hunter for the Twins, center fielder. He was another guy who just robbed everybody of home runs. Roy Halladay for the Blue Jays. Yeah, he was a great pitcher back here in the 2003 season. Greg Maddox. Yeah. Okay, let's go to 2006. Oh, there's Jason Giambi with the Yankees there. Robinson Cano, A Rod, Hideki Matsui. Yeah, they were loaded, man. I don't remember Vladimir Guerrero going to the Angels. Bartolo Colon with the Angels, I guess. I remember Bartolo Colon being a New York Met. One of my favorite memories of Bartolo Colon is when I believe he hit his first home run there at the New York Mets Stadium. He hit his first home run, and the announcer was going crazy. And I think he was pretty old. It was near the end of his career. And he goes to the dugout, and they give him the silent treatment, which is basically he goes into the dugout looking for the high fives from his teammates and all that stuff, but they just disappeared, and then they all came out of the locker room or whatever and celebrated with him. But that's my favorite memory of Bartolo. Placido Polanco, Curtis Granderson. Didn't he play for the Mets? They have him listed here for the Tigers. I think I remember him for the Mets. Granderson played for the Mets. Yes, 2015-17 season. Obviously, like Joe Mauer was the anchor for the Minnesota Twins, as well as Torrey Hunter. Victor Martinez for the Indians. Aaron Boone. I feel like Aaron Boone played for the Yankees too. Aaron Boone did play for the Yankees as third baseman for part of the 2003 season. AJ Pierzynski for the White Sox. Paul Konerko. Juan Uribe. Scott Posednik. I feel like Posednik played for Boston. Yeah, he did. 2012. Coco Crisp, Kurt Schilling, Big Poppy, David Ortiz, Mike Lowell. What about the Mariners here? Raul Abanez. Ichiro, man. Ichiro's got to be one of the better hitters I've ever seen. Contact hitters. Tampa Bay. Texas, Mark Teixeira. He ended up going to the Yankees eventually. Ian Kinsler. Yeah, I just like getting on here and looking at some of these old names. Brings back some good memories. And it gets me looking forward to this upcoming baseball season a little bit more. I mean, Craig Counsell here for the Diamondbacks. I want to say he batted without batting gloves, and he choked up on the bat pretty high, if I can remember correctly. Batting stances. I think Gary Sheffield had one of the batting stances that were just different from other people. Weird batting stances. List of players. Let's see what I can find here. It takes me like the bleacherreport.com. Let's see who they have on this list. Prince Fielder, really? I don't like how they have this set up. Let me try to find a different source. Tony Bautista. There was Tony Bautista probably had the weirdest batting stance I've ever seen. He would stand straight up, and instead of having his looks like he's a right-handed hitter. Instead of having his left shoulder facing the pitcher, he stood straight looking at the pitcher. If you guys haven't seen his batting stance, go check that out. Tony Bautista. Batista. That's got to be the weirdest batting stance. Chipper Jones, man. I mean, the Braves, like I said, when I was growing up, Yankees were pretty much dominant. But the Braves were good too. With Chipper Jones and Andrew Jones, Jeff Francoeur. They had a good pitching staff too. They don't have the pitchers listed here. But, off the top of my head, I mean, Glavin, I think, right? List of Atlanta Braves pitchers in year 2000. Let's see if we have it. Greg Maddux, Glavin, John Rocker. I mean, this team was loaded with a good pitching staff. I remember always seeing those Atlanta Brave games on the same network that the Cubs play on, like WGN. That's the cool thing about baseball is, we pretty much have a game every day. And although I might not be able to watch the game every day and watch every single game, at the end of the day, I still like to, look to see who won, who did what. Edwin Encarnacion. I didn't know he played for Cincinnati back here. Yeah, Matt Holliday with the Rockies. Man, that was the greatest moment I've had being a Rockies fan. We were playing a wild card game. I think it was against the Padres, and around like 2007-8. This game lasted until literally 4:20 in the morning, and the Rockies ended up winning. That was one of my favorite memories. Oh, Dontrell Willis. I mean, how can we forget about Dontrell Willis? He had a very fast pitch. Dan Ugla. Yeah, I mean the Marlins were pretty good back here too. I mean, I don't like to bring this type of stuff up. I like to, be positive and talk about good stuff, man. And but one of the memories I remember with the Florida Marlins has got to be with the Chicago Cubs when that fan interfered with that ball. I mean, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about there, man, yeah, go check out that Marlins versus Cubs game in the playoffs, and where the guy interfered with the ball. I don't even really like talking about that, but that's what I do think about. JD Drew. I remember JD Drew playing for the Cardinals. My first baseball game that I went to was in Colorado, and JD Drew played for the Cardinals. In the second pitch of the game, JD Drew, I believe he hit a home run. Second pitch of the game for the Cardinals. So that was my um, welcoming to Colorado Rocky fanhood. Was, hey, I'm at my very first game, second pitch of the game, home run, and it really hasn't gotten any better since. Jose Reyes. Um, Chase Utley for the Phillies. Yeah, he was another a good hitter. When I say good hitter, like a good contact hitter. He wasn't like somebody that you would see, smashing one out of the park every game, but yeah, he was a solid hitter. Barry Bonds. I mean, Barry Bonds was different. And I know people say, a lot of these guys back in this day, may or may not have been juicing up. I wasn't there. I don't know. Um, I mean, I don't really like talking about that stuff either. But with all that to the side, whether they did or didn't, I mean, it was fun to watch Barry Bonds growing up. Scott Rowland. Let's move on to see 2008. See if we find some other names here. Yeah, I hope everybody's having a good day. Thanks for stopping in. I normally talk about, baseball analytics, football analytics, and NBA basketball analytics. I like breaking those games down every day, talking about points allowed per game, points scored per game, fast break points, and all types of stuff. In baseball, you'll hear me on my live streams talking about pitches, pitch types, what players are good at hitting off of certain types of pitches, or which players are bad at hitting off certain types of pitches. Um, Nick Markakis. Paul Konerko. Nick Swisher. He ended up playing with the Yankees, right? He was a very energetic guy. Yeah. kind of running into the same names here. The Royals, Mark Tien, David DeJesus, Jose Guillen, Billy Beans, Billy Butler. Torrey Hunter again. Justin Morneau for the Twins was good. Hideki Matsui again. Robinson Cano. Barry Zito for the Giants. It's a familiar name. Rick Ankiel. Man, there was somebody for the Rockies. I remember I was driving when I was a kid, man, and I don't like talking about this stuff. I guess this brings back worse memories than good memories, but man, one of the players for the Rockies ended up passing away. I think it was it wasn't Rick Ankiel. Um, trying to find who it was. Who for the St. Louis Cardinals? He may have played for the Darryl Kyle, and Darryl Kyle was a good player. Yeah, I remember just being in a car, making a long drive, and getting that news. And that was terrible. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know what that 6'7" stuff you're talking about there is, Abigail. I know I hear a lot of people saying it, but I don't know. Who else we got here? Brandon Webb. Yadier Molina. Yeah, he was the Cardinals catcher forever, man. I mean, he just recently retired, right? I'm looking at the 2008 Cardinals depth chart. I mean, he just recently retired, and that was sad to see him go. Let's fast forward to 2011. It's hard to believe that was still 15 years ago, 2011. You know, Salta Lamacchia. Oh yeah, Dustin Pedroia for the Boston Red Sox, second baseman. He was great. John Lester. I know he played for the Cubs there for a little bit. This year they haven't had him listed for the Red Sox. He was a really good pitcher. Alex Rios. I think he ended up playing for the Royals later on in his career. Mark Burley. He was a good pitcher, just with the White Sox there. Michael Brantley. Shin Soo Choo, another good hitter. He ended up playing with Texas there for a bit. Jeff Francoeur, Hochaver. Curtis Granderson there for the Yanks. Brett Gardner. Dang, I didn't know Freddie Freeman was in the league in 2011. He was with the Braves there for a bit. Now he's with the Dodgers? Angel Pagan. I think I remember him being a San Francisco Giant, but he's listed as a Met here. Prince Fielder for the Brewers. He was a good power hitter. Yeah, that's what I love about baseball, man. It's on every single day for the most part. And this Rockies team was actually pretty decent. We had one decent season, and then I'm done talking about the Rockies. All right, we did have 1 year, man, where Ubaldo Jimenez was kind of creeping up on Cy Young. I think that season he even threw a no-hitter. It was a fun team to watch. Hope we can get back to those days. I mean, I can look at the depth charts, the current depth charts this season too, here in a bit. Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to baseball season. Evan Longoria there for Tampa Bay. BJ Upton. How could we forget Nelson Cruz there for Texas? And Elvis Andrews. Ian Kinsler, Mike Napoli. Okay. Let's scoot up a little bit here. About 2015. Machado, man. I forget he used to play with Baltimore. Manny Machado. Shane Victorino. I think I remember him. Didn't he play with the Phillies? They had him listed as with the Red Sox here. I know him more so as a Philadelphia Philly. He's a scrappy player. Adam Eaton. I think I already mentioned Michael Brantley, Jason Kipnis, Yoenis Cespedes played with the Tigers this season, 2015. I remember him ended up going. He ended up going to the Mets, right? And he was in the World Series against the Royals. Like he made that blunder out there in the outfield, but like he was pretty decent though. I mean, this Royals team was really good. They just meshed well together. Salvi, Hosmer, Infante, Moose, Escobar, Alex Gordon, Kane, Alex Rios, Giordano, Kendrys Morales. I know I usually run like sports betting stuff on my live streams when I'm talking about analytics, but yeah, Kendry Morales one time, I just remember him coming in clutch for me. He went on a streak for he hadn't had a hit in like 23 games. So I went ahead and threw him in my fantasy lineup. I played like daily fantasy baseball. I just went ahead and plugged him in, just hoping he would break his streak. And it was like the 8th inning in a meaningless game, and he ended up hitting a clutch home run for me. Shout out Kendrys Morales for that. David Freese, man. They had him for the Angels here, but David Freese, I think, well, when he was with the Cardinals, he had like a game tying home run and then a walk off home run in the same game to like extend the series to get to a game 7. Ended up getting the Cardinals to the World Series, I believe, or maybe even winning it. Trevor Plouffe for the Twins. Oh, D.D. Gregorius, man, for the Yankees, shortstop. Ben Zobrist for the Athletics. Well, I mean, when the Royals got Ben Zobrist, I mean, he was a big X factor for the Royals. I believe he, helped him win that World Series. And Billy Butler actually played for the Athletics too. Mike Zunino for the Mariners. Logan Morrison, Kyle Seager. I mean, a lot of these guys are actually still around. Rough Ned Odor. I mean, you guys already know what I think about whenever I see Rough Ned Odor, and that was against Jose Jose Bautista. Bautista, I mean, Bautista slid into second base, and it was kind of a dirty slide. Uh, Regardless if it was dirty or not, Roughneck or Odor really wasn't happy about it, and Jose Bautista wasn't happy with Odor being unhappy about it. So I believe Bautista is the first one to make contact. Bautista pushed him, and Bautista he had this stigma about him to where it didn't seem like that was somebody that you wanted to mess with, not somebody that you wanted to agitate. And he was a lot bigger than Roughneck Odor, and Odor just just clocked him right on the side of his chin and swatted him with his glove. I mean, baseball baseball fights, baseball fights, hockey fights. It's part of the game. I don't want to see a fight every time that people go out there, but there definitely are some memorable fights, and that just happened to be one of them. The Odor and Bautista, one that I can think about, one that just I remember looking at these old depth charts. Albert Pujols, yeah, Albert Pujols was good. Cole Hamels for the Phillies. Ryan Howard, he was a good home run hitter. Lucas Duda for the Mets there. I promised that I wouldn't mention anything about the Rockies. Oh, Johnny Cueto. Yeah, he was with the Reds. He ended up going to Kansas City. Did he end up winning a World Series? Did Johnny Cueto? I think he did. With the Royals? Yeah. Yeah, he was on that 2015 Royals team. It was another big reason why the Royals won that. Brian Dozier, Eric Sogard, Josh Donaldson. Remember the Blue Jays were in the playoffs. I think they faced the Royals in that when the Royals won the World Series in 2015. I think Josh Donaldson, he was a good player for the Blue Jays there. Kevin Pillar, Ender Inciarte for the Diamondbacks. Mark Trumbo, Nick Ahmed, Paul Goldschmidt. Yeah, I remember. He used to be with the Diamondbacks. I think he's with the. Where is he now? Is he with the Cardinals or Yankees? Yankees. Jorge Soler. Billy Hamilton, he was fast for the Cincinnati Reds. Joey Votto. Todd Frazier. Yeah, so I mentioned yesterday that I'm kind of working on something, working on a little project that I think you guys are going to like. Hopefully, I can do a show on that before NBA starts back up on Thursday. Baltimore, Jonathan Shoup, Mancini, Trey Mancini. Oh man, Nomar Mazzara there for the Texas Rangers. Joey Gallo, of course. Justin Smoke for the Blue Jays. I didn't know Gerard Dyson played for the Diamondbacks. I remember him being a Kansas City Royal. Chris Bryant with the Cubs. Let's go look at current depth charts. Let's see, fangraphs.com has what is this? Starting pitcher rankings. They got the Red Sox as the top starting pitching staff this season, I think is what this is. Red Sox, Tigers, Dodgers, Phillies, Reds. Yeah, that Hunter Green is good for the Reds. I wonder if this is ranked. Well, I'll know if it's ranked if I scroll to the bottom and see the Rockies. Yeah, it looks pretty accurate. Rockies 30th here. But hey, man, the Rockies are picking up some guys. They might not be like great acquisitions, but it's showing that they actually care. I mean, Sugano, Quintana, Lorenzen. But I want to see full depth charts, not just starting pitchers here. Who do you guys think is going to, kind of be like a sleeper team this season in the MLB? I haven't really looked into it, but that's kind of why I'm like looking into this stuff right now, just to get my mind preparing for baseball season again. It's right around the corner. I've been really focused on NFL. Now I've transitioned over to the NBA, so my mind's really focused in on NBA. But once baseball starts up, I'll be doing baseball shows, and I can't wait for it. The funnest part about the research that I do on baseball, I've already mentioned it, is the what types of pitchers throw and what hitters for the opposing team are good at hitting that specific pitch. Not only do I think it's fun to look that stuff up, but I think it's just valuable information, I don't want to take somebody who's a good hitter. Let's say I'm taking Freddie Freeman or something for some sort of a player prop, or you guys are. I don't want to pick Freddie Freeman if I know he's batting a 167 against somebody who throws a knuckleball or something, a curveball. Let's say a curveball. I don't know if that's true, but let's just say he's batting like a 167 against the curveball this season, and the opposing pitcher throws 60% of his pitches are curveballs. It's like, let's find a different spot. Let's go look at the Yankees depth chart. I mean, they're always a problem. I mean, they're just loaded, man. Aaron Judge, Bellinger, Ben Rice, Stanton, Chisholm, Ryan McMahon. I said I wouldn't mention the Rockies again, but there he is. Oh man, they got Caballero from the Rays. I'm pretty sure he's a pretty decent hitter. Let's see. Batting average. Where's his batting average? Oh, 236. Could have sworn it was a little bit better than that. But yeah, they still got Paul Goldschmidt, it looks like. Max Fried. Schlittler. I don't know if any Yankees fans are watching, but what do you guys think about Schlittler? I think this is his second season, right? I remember his first start was last season, and the Yankees offense really came together for him in that game. I think the Yankees offense, it was overall just a good game. Let me just look that up. That's what let's see. July 9th at Seattle. July 9th, Yankees. July 9th, Yankees box score. 2025. Yeah, 9-6. So yeah, the Yankees offense really helped Schlittler out. I mean, he threw 7 strikeouts, 3 earned runs that game. But from my understanding, Cam Schlittler's going to be pretty decent. Will Warren. Interested to think what Yankees fans think about this team this year. Let's just go see, like, on DK, who the odds, who they have for World Series winner. Dodgers, surprise, surprise, and then it's the Yankees. The Dodgers are a big, they're plus 230, and then the Yankees are plus 950. That's a big difference. I'm tired of being in the same division as the Dodgers, man. Although it seems like those are the games the Rockies win. Rockies will lose to, the Marlins and the Nationals. As soon as, we play at Los Angeles. What about who else do they have here? So the Dodgers, the Mariners. What have the Mariners done? I feel like the Rockies have actually had a pretty active offseason. I want to know about some of these other teams, though. Oh, Seattle got Brendan Donovan from the St. Louis Cardinals. I think he's pretty fast, if I know correctly. Is Brendan not considered fast and player of elite speed or stolen bases? I thought he was. Yeah, maybe, maybe you guys might not really be into baseball a whole lot. Maybe you're trying to get into baseball. I think now is like a good time to do that. Let's see, the first preseason game, the first spring training game, MLB spring training, is in 6 days. Don't let the NBA All Star break distract you from the fact that there are spring training games starting in 6 days. That's awesome. And then I have to prioritize whether I want to talk about baseball or basketball, or do both if I can. I don't know. I like them both. I think I got to prioritize baseball, though, man. Let's check this Royals lineup out for this season. Mikael Garcia, he's good, man. Bobby Witt Jr., Pascantino, Salvi, Cags. Let's see if Cags has a good year this season for the Royals. Jack Caglione, Jonathan India, Carter Jensen, Isaac Collins, Kyle Isbell. I think the Royals pitching staff looks pretty decent here. I think the Royals have a little team here. I'd be worried about the 7, 8, 9 hitters. Carter Jensen, Isaac Collins, and Isbell. I don't really know a whole lot about Carter Jensen or Isaac Collins, but see Jensen. Uh, what about like Boston Red Sox? Oh, they got Wilson Contreras from the Cardinals. Who's supposed to be the worst team? The Nationals, White Sox, Rockies. Royals plus 4,000 to win the World Series. Who do you guys think is like a good long shot to possibly win the World Series this year? I haven't really thought about it. Padres at plus 2,800. Fernando Tatis, Machado, Bogarts, Fermin. Their bullpen was good last year too. MLB bullpen ERA 2025 takes me to covers.com. I want to look at the regular season. I mean, San Diego had the best bullpen ERA in baseball last year. And then it was Boston, Cleveland. Those are teams, being a Rockies fan, man, I know what it's like to have a bad bullpen. I know what it's like to be winning a game or be in a game, contending. It's a tie game, eighth inning. And if you have a bad bullpen, dude, it's miserable. It's absolutely miserable. I can't tell you how many times throughout my life I've seen the Rockies actually, in a competitive baseball game until the seventh, eighth, ninth inning, and then the bullpen comes in and does that. But I think, if you have a good bullpen, you don't need the greatest starting pitching staff. I feel like the Padres can do it at plus 2,800. But the bad thing is that the Padres have never won a World Series. So they've reached the World Series twice, 1984 and 1998. So it's like if you pick the Padres to win it all, yeah, in May, June, July, things might seem crimson and clovers. But once you got to start playing the Dodgers in the playoffs, it's tough. They got Atlanta up here, Baltimore, Milwaukee. Let's see. Atlanta's plus 1,600. I like their offense. I don't know how many runs per game they scored last year. We can look it up. Atlanta, 13th. They were the 13th best in the MLB in runs per game. So decent offense. Maybe I'm overestimating them right now, but I think they were dealing with some injuries too. I think Acuna was out there for a while. Austin Riley was out. But looking at that starting five, man, and even Michael Harris at the 8 hole doesn't look bad. Albies in the 7 hole. I mean, Acuna, Matt Olson is who they have projected here on Fangraphs to be in the starting lineup. Acuna, Olson, Profar. I like Profar, man. Drake Baldwin, Austin Riley, Yastrzemski. It feels like Spencer Strider was like really good one year, and then he just started allowing a bunch of home runs. I want to go just look at his stats real quick. ERA. Yeah, I mean, in 2021, it looks like that was his first season, 3.86 ERA. And then it was 2.67 in 2022. 2023, 3.86. And then it shot up in 2024 to 7.00. And then, but maybe he didn't, maybe he was a little bit limited on the games that he played there. But last year, 4.45. I don't know what's quite happened to Spencer Strider, but or Bryce Elder. I think these guys were pretty decent there for a little bit. So I don't know what happened. But I feel like if they can get that starting pitching together, and the bullpen was below average last year with ERA. So the Dodgers won the World Series last year. Their bullpen actually really wasn't that good. Bullpen ERA was ranked the 10th worst in the regular season last year. And then in the playoffs, they were the 5th worst. So really it was that offense that carried them. San Diego, Boston, Milwaukee, and Chicago. I'm just looking at like all the teams that made the playoffs last year and see how many of them had a good bullpen. Really, it seems like a lot of the teams that do make the playoffs have a good bullpen. Phillies, Dodgers. Dodgers didn't. Phillies didn't last year. Seattle and Toronto. Seattle did. Toronto's was average. Yankees was bad. Cincinnati Reds about a little bit above average. Cy Young, Skubal is the front runner. He's projected to win the AL. Cy Young, and then Skeens plus 225 here on DK for Skeens to win the NL. Cy Young. Yamamoto. I had Yamamoto on my fantasy team last year. I think I don't know how I won my league. That's what I like to do, man, is in my league I ended up winning last year. I started off 0-4 in my fantasy league though. I ended up coming back and winning though. But what I did was draft a bunch of pitchers and not bullpen guys, but starting pitchers. If you guys are into fantasy baseball, I mean, that's how I feel like I won my league last year. I mean, I overloaded on starting pitchers because I think starting pitchers are tougher to come across than just a fill-in spot. I'd rather have my fantasy team consist of a lot of good starting pitchers. And when it comes to the offense, I mean, I can just pick up a player off the waivers. It depends on your rules in your fantasy league, but a lot of times I can just pick up a player off the waivers who's got a good matchup that day. He could maybe be a bad player, but if he's got a good matchup, go ahead and pick him up, plug him in, and so that's where I really separated myself with other teams in my league, was that starting pitching. And I mean, I overloaded on starting pitching at the start of the season. I think I ended up getting like Soto with my first pick, and then it was just pitchers for my next, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 picks. The Rockies are plus 3,500 to make the playoffs. I don't know, man. I got a feeling the Rockies aren't going to be half bad this year. I thought that every other year of my life, though, too. So it's just my biasness speaking, but anyways, yeah, I'll be doing baseball shows, guys. Those are fun. If you're into baseball, come check that out. Um, NBA shows will start back up Thursday. And I think JB and I are going to do like a little show tomorrow for NFL depth charts in like the 2000s, early 2000s, late 1990s. We'll just be talking about some players that we liked when we were growing up. Just be a pretty cool show. It'll be nice to have somebody else to talk with too about this stuff. But yeah, I hope everybody's having a good day. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you guys. Always working hard for you guys to make sure that you guys get the best information possible that I can find and the most relevant information. And I'm not trying to confuse people with statistics either. I try to make it really, fundamental and explain it in a way that is easy to understand. I know statistics can be like a little intimidating. They can be a little difficult to interpret. And I'm not like a statistician or anything, but I mean, I guess I've kind of like turned myself into one. And I'm still learning things too. So, and I think there are so many statistics out there, and I think just having some basic statistics, those basic principles helps a lot. The advanced statistics are cool too, but then it gets overwhelming. So I really like to, for you guys and really for myself, I do like to find the statistics that are the most impactful, the most relevant. And I don't want to confuse people, you know. So, anyways, yeah, I'll see you guys on on Thursday or tomorrow for the NFL old school depth chart breakdown. Once again, thank you guys. And thanks to the sponsors, BetUS, MyBookie.ag, Walmart.com, Open Goal, the MLB and NFL Pro Shops, and W Energy Drinks. All right. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I'll see you soon. Take care.
This non-casual podcast may not be reproduced, retransmitted, or reused without the authorized written consent of the Not Move Podcast Network. Thank you, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.